Welcome to the Box Score Sports Podcast.
Anything out there so far you want to talk about week 14?
Just the Thursday night game because you're the Lions fan and I'm the Packers fan. All I can say is that was a great game.
It was.
Disappointing with the outcome.
Hmm.
It's kind of what I expected, but it was an entertaining game
Yeah.
nonetheless.
Yeah.
And because both of those teams played on Thanksgiving and they had a whole week, I just think the quality of the Thursday night game was so much better than typical
Hmm.
because they had the extra rest and time to prepare.
Yeah. I agree with you. That's why I think it should be like a coming off a bye, you play Thursday, like a bye week, and
Yeah,
then you get that Sunday off, but then you play, so you don't get like 2 whole weeks off. I think that'd be better just because the players get more rest and
yeah.
you get a better product. But yeah, the Thursday night game was great. Um, I think as a Packer fan, though, you got to be somewhat like, okay, we
Mhm.
can handle this. Like,
Yeah.
it's not, you didn't get blown out. Like, the Packers don't suck. It's
Right.
not me like that.
They hung with them
It's,
the whole game.
that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. And, it really took a couple of really crazy calls by the Lions to put that game away. I don't know what you felt like, and you can give me your perspective as a Packer fan. But my thing was on 4th and 1 when they went for it at the end of the game.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this, and you said that Dan Campbell is a concern of yours this offseason. You said something about that just because he's too risky at times.
Hmm.
Um, and in that moment, I thought of you when they were going for it. And I thought maybe what they were trying to do is just draw him off sides. And I'm like, okay, you got to try it. You got to try it. Right.
Right. Right.
And I think they caught the Packers a little off guard because they just 17 seconds left on the play clock and they just hiked the ball. So it
Yeah.
was like they didn't try to do anything. They like go get to line, hike the ball, and it kind of like the Packers thought maybe they would play games with them. But I did not like that they went for it there. I thought kick the field goal. You got 39 seconds left. You got no timeouts for the Packers. That's what I would have done. How did you feel in that moment as a Packer fan when they were going for it on 4th and 1?
Well, of course, I was hoping they were going to stop them like they did the time before.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is what I've heard from other, game analysts and broadcasters. They went 4 for 5 on fourth down.
Hmm.
At some point, that's not the average. At some point, that's going to come back and bite you.
Hmm.
Um, and I understand because after the game, Dan Campbell said he just plain didn't want to give the ball back to Green Bay because he thought if they had the ball, they were going to go down and score again.
Hmm.
He just didn't want to leave any time on the clock. And he figured it was worth the gamble for that. And it worked out for him. But it was a gutsy call.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there were some officiating calls that I wasn't too happy with, like the offensive PI on Christian Watson. I think Keyshawn Nixon had either a holding call that I thought was a little ticky tacky. They missed a blow to the head on Jordan Love. They missed was it St. Brown that took the helmet off of Xavier McKinney?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, I saw that
Yeah,
one.
they
Yeah.
didn't call that. I mean, there were some calls that didn't really go Green Bay's way, and I think that kind of affected how the outcome of the game was as well.
Yeah, yeah, and I've heard that, and I just want to like. So I'm glad you brought that up because here's the thing. Agreed that there were some missed calls. I would say with the blow to the head, um, didn't affect the play. So I hate that rule anyway because I don't know why. Now you got to call it if you see it, right? Like I'm not saying
Yeah.
you don't call it, but um, at least it didn't affect the play. But there was also some missed calls on the other side that Packer fans don't bring up, and that's like 55 jumping on the pile at when after the whistle blew. I don't know if you saw that where Matt LaFleur like looked like he was going to kill him, like he did one of
Oh
those.
yeah, Kingsley
Yeah,
Enigbar. Yeah,
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 yeah. There was a holding call on a touchdown. I think it was the 3rd and goal on Zadarius Smith, where the guy had him hooked around the shoulder
yeah,
pad. And then there was the ticky tack one on Ragnow. So like the hold on Ragnow that had. So I'm
yeah.
just saying like to be fair, the officials weren't um uh great, like on either end. I think it affected the Packers a little more. And then as far as the rub route goes, that it's again, this is something I don't want in the NFL because I don't like that it got called because they're not consistent with it. Now Watson needs to show his hands. I think the only reason why it got called is because he knocked Joseph over.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only reason
I
why it
agree.
got called.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise you're supposed to turn and show your hands, and he wasn't in the motion of doing that. He went hit him and then he turned. It's like no, you got to do it before he gets he gets to you, you know. So if he didn't knock over Joseph, I don't think that gets called. To
Probably
be
not.
honest, yeah,
It was just incidental contact. It was,
yeah,
yeah.
correct. And it was design incidental contact in the sense of like we want you to rub out. I wish they'd get out of the game because it reminds me a little of like um, carrying in the NBA, where
Mm-hmm.
like they carry the ball, everybody does it, and they choose when they want to call it, and it's just like,
Yeah.
are you good? You're putting, and in a sense, you're putting the game in the officials' hands, where you're like, I'm hoping they don't call this. You know what I'm saying? Does that make
Yeah.
sense? And then the other thing I will say, as a Lions fan, no fan base can come to me and complain about officiating after some of the horrible and horrendous calls that Lions fans have had over the last like 5 to 10 years. You know,
Yeah.
it's just like we had the catch, we had the ineligible man downfield against the Cowboys, we had the pass interference against the Cowboys. That one time we played the Packers, there was those. They called illegal hands to the face on Trey Flowers twice when he had his hand right here and not up by his face. So I'm just saying, like, personally, I get it. I understand the frustration, but like when we stunk as Lions fans, people are like, oh, refs don't decide the game. One call doesn't decide the game. Get better. It's like, okay, now let's put that in reverse then. Let's not blame the officials. Um, I think they could have been better for sure, though. I'm with you on that, but I just think there was missed calls on both sides, and I think that um, some of the plays that you run or things you do puts the game in the officials' hands to call some of those calls that frankly I don't think should be called, or you know what I'm saying, like the
Mhm.
rub route. I didn't think it was like every play every team does it. You penalized the result, not the action.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even the last game between the Lions and the Packers, the whole ejecting of, was it Brian Branch?
yeah, that one.
Yeah, like, yeah, it was a penalty and he probably should have gotten fined, but ejected. I actually thought that was a little far.
I agree.
But yeah, I mean,
And so you just got to go out and find a way to win. What I loved about the Packers is it kind of did, right? Like they were down, they only scored 7 points in the first half, and then
yeah, they
they came back and they tried their best. And I thought that what I was impressed, and what I'll tell you what I'm most scared about, Shannon, is it's really hard to beat any team 3 times in one
it
season.
is. Yeah. Yeah.
So secretly, I was kind of hoping that the Packers would win. I even told my friend before the game, I'm like, kind of want them to win because I don't want to play the Packers 3 times and have a 2-0 record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do think that the Lions are the best team in the NFL right now.
One more injury, man. One more injury and we're done. I'm telling you, we got 13 guys on IR on the defensive
They're
side of
well
ball
coached though,
alone.
because
I know. Yeah.
even guys they bring in on the street, it's just sometimes we don't give enough credit to coaching because if you have a good coach, he can find ways to motivate any professional football player because they're all extreme athletes.
Yeah.
It's just getting the most out of them on game day.
Mhm.
And like all the coaches, the Lions, they're getting that out of their players.
That's a fair point. Yeah. Yeah. I just think in two, like the North is just crazy right now too. So it's just, yeah.
It
But
is.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I think Dan Campbell has really built a good culture there. And sometimes you just love it, and sometimes you're on the edge of your seat, biting fingernails, being like, "Why are we going for it?" Like the one play, that 4th and 1 where they pitched it out to Gibbs, and you guys stopped it. The one,
Yeah.
the Packers stopped it. I don't know why we went for it there because we were up by 3 and we put you guys right in field goal range.
Yeah. Yep.
Why? So it's like one of those things, but it's why the Lions are 12-1 as well. Because if he
Yeah.
he wasn't like that, who knows what the record would be right now? You know?
Yeah. You live by the sword, die by the sword.
That's 100%, 100%. Okay. Thanks so much for watching this clip of the Box Score Sports Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. See ya.